The associative property tells me I can add or multiply more than two numbers in any grouping by using parentheses, and the resulting sum or product won't change. In other words, the sum of A and B plus C equals A plus the sum of B and C, or the product of A and B times C equals A times the product of B and C. Let's have these little bear astronauts prove it to you with addition. Let's focus on this side first. The yellow and green teams arrive ready for takeoff first, so they board the shuttle. That means we have 6 yellow bears plus 3 green bears equals 9 bears on the shuttle. Then the blue team, who had been running a little late, arrives and boards the shuttle. Now we have 9 yellow and green bears and the 4 blue bears for a total of 13 bears ready for blastoff. Okay, now let's look at the other side. This time the yellow team is late. The 3 green and 4 blue bears show up first and board the shuttle. Together, there are 3 green bears plus 4 blue bears equals 7 bears on the shuttle. Then the yellow team arrives and joins the rest of the crew. Now we have the 7 green and blue bears and the 6 yellow bears for a total of 13 bears ready for blastoff. So you can see, it doesn't matter which two sets of bear astronauts we combine first, we'll always end up with the same total sum of bears going to space. Next up, multiplication. I'm going to think of this equation as flowers in gardens. On this side, we have 2 rows of 4 flowers to begin with. 2 times 4 equals 8 flowers. Then we multiply the set by 5. So we end up with the flowers from the first garden, which is 8, times 5 copies of that same garden. 8 flowers times 5 gardens equals 40 total flowers. Now, on the other side, we have 4 rows of 5 flowers to start. 4 times 5 equals 20 flowers. Then we multiply that set by 2 gardens. 20 flowers times 2 gardens equals 40 total flowers. So, again, we can see that it doesn't matter the order in which we group the multiples, the product will be the same. I'm wondering what will happen if I try it with subtraction or division. I'll start with subtraction. The difference between A and B minus C equals A minus the difference between B and C. Will it work? Is this statement true? Let's find out. Here we have Elena, Ben, and Grover. You can see how many blocks they each have. On this side, we're going to first find the difference between Elena and Ben's blocks. 12 minus 5 equals 7 blocks. Elena has 7 more blocks than Ben. Now we're going to find the difference between these 7 blocks and Grover's 3 blocks. 7 minus 3 equals 4 blocks. So the difference between Elena and Ben's blocks is 4 more than Grover's blocks. Let's look at the other side of the equation to see if we'll get the same difference. We're going to find the difference between Ben and Grover's blocks first. 5 minus 3 equals 2 blocks. Next, we'll compare Elena's 12 blocks and the difference between Ben and Grover's blocks, which was 2 blocks. 12 minus 2 equals 10 blocks. Uh-oh, we got different answers for the two sides of the equation. They're not equal at all. When finding the difference between a set of numbers, the groupings do seem to matter. Alright, one last operation to try. Division. The quotient of A and B divided by C equals A divided by the quotient of B and C. Will it work? Is this a true statement? Let's find out with goldfish and fish tanks. First, on this side of the equal sign, we begin with 24 goldfish being divided evenly among 6 tanks. 24 fish divided by 6 tanks equals 4 fish per tank. Now we're going to look at the quantity of fish in just one of those tanks, which is 4 fish. 4 fish becomes our new dividend and 2 tanks is our divisor. 4 fish divided by 2 tanks equals 2 fish per tank. Our final quotient for this side of the equation is 2 fish per tank. Now, let's see if we can get the same thing on the other side. Here, we have to begin with 6 fish divided evenly among 2 tanks. 6 fish divided by 2 tanks equals 3 fish per tank. Okay, now this equation requires that we do a little switching. The quotient of 3, which we just solved for, is now going to become the divisor, or the quantity of fish bowls. We're looking here at the 24 fish. We need to divide them evenly into these 3 bowls. 24 fish divided by 3 bowls equals 8 fish per tank. Alright, so I know that 2 and 8 are not equivalent, so we cannot change the way we group numbers when we divide and get the same answer. And now we know. Addition and multiplication are associative operations, whereas subtraction and division are not.